Hello everyone, welcome to the Fight Tonight channel. Friends, before starting to watch this video, I would like to ask you to subscribe to my channel. I really want to get 5,000 subscribers on my YouTube channel. It's so close, thanks for supporting me, guys. Terence Crawford has no doubt who wins Gervonta Davis-Shakur Stevenson fight. A fight between American lightweight stars Gervonta Davis and Shakur Stevenson is amongst the very best to be made in the sport, and hopefully one fans see sooner rather than later. Davis has won world titles in 3 different weight classes and is fresh off a win over Ryan Garcia in the biggest fight of his career thus far. Stevenson is a 2-weight world champion aged just 25, and many pundits believe it is an inevitability he will add a strap at 135 pounds to that collection in the not-too-distant future. When asked for his prediction on a potential fight between the two stars, welterweight world champion Terence Crawford has no doubts of his selection when asked by Showtime. Shakur hands down. Although his standing in boxing is arguably at an all-time high, Davis has bigger concern to deal with out of the ring in the meantime. However, as he has just been sent to jail for 2 months for breaking a 90-day home detention order. Stevenson, on the other hand, announced that his arrival to the lightweight division to impressive fashion with a dominant performance over Shichiro Yoshino last month in front of a hometown crowd in Newark, with the bout culminating in referee Alan Huggins waving it off in the 6th round. As for Crawford, the biggest night of his career is drawing ever closer, as he takes on Errol Spence Jr. for the undisputed welterweight world title on July 29th. With the winner regarded by many as a shoe-in, the stakes could not be much higher at the T-Mobile Arena. Ryan Garcia reportedly paid a dozen huge sum as part of Gervonta Davis' deal. Following a very public spat, Oscar de la Hoya's Golden Boy Promotions has filed a lawsuit against Ryan Garcia to enforce its contract in response to his legal team claiming violations of their agreement. Garcia came up short in the biggest fight of his career so far. Being knocked down twice on the way to defeat against Gervonta Davis, the event was, by all accounts, a mega success. In the aftermath, Garcia was disappointed not to be flanked by his outspoken promoter De La Hoya at the post-fight press conference. The former champion turned businessman later said that security had advised him to leave the building due to death threats. Frustration between the pair boiled over recently on social media, with Garcia publicly shunning De La Hoya's talk that he could face Manny Pacquiao. He also said he felt unsupported and betrayed by his team. De La Hoya responded by telling his fighter to man up, and that the loss to Davis was on him and his advisor, Guadalupe Valencia, who is also included in the lawsuit, whilst De La Hoya has publicly still been talking up potential opponents for Garcia at super lightweight. The promotional company have taken legal actions in response to a letter from Garcia's team that, as per ESPN, alleges breaches of their agreement. Amongst other things, Garcia's side claimed Golden Boy have breached a non-disparagement clause following that tweet from De La Hoya. The report also reveals an allegation that the deal made with broadcaster DAZN by Golden Boy was fully communicated to Garcia. It's claimed that the fighter ended up paying around $120,000 of his own money earned to the streaming platform, who reportedly received $1.25 million in total to allow Showtime to be the main producer/broadcaster of the event. DAZN also offered the pay-per-view. In response, the promotional company's lawsuit seeks to enforce the remainder of Garcia's contract, as mentioned it in a letter provided to ESPN. With this filing, we are seeking to ensure that Garcia and his team will honor the remainder of his contract, a contract that Ryan himself called one of the most lucrative boxing deals for a prospect in history of the sport. Shakur Stevenson admits disrespectful fighter is only one on his skill level. Shakur Stevenson is widely regarded as one of the most skilled fighters in boxing and is usually not shy about letting people know about it. A two-way world champion aged just 25 and more to follow seeming like an inevitability. Stevenson rarely has a high opinion of himself and has said previously there are a few like him around. However, in a recent interview, the New York Southpaw admitted he felt like top-ranked stablemate Keyshawn Davis was on a similar level when the pairs sparred together. I'm a real person at the end of the day, and I always tell the truth. What makes him, Davis, different from me? That I've been in the ring with him and he gives me great sparring, he gives me great work. I'll keep it real with you, that's what makes him different from me. When I get in the ring with somebody and they are able to compete with me on a high-level skill, it shows me how good he is. One thing I like about him is, he is a real disrespectful fighter, and that's going to take him a long way too. They can move Keyshawn as fast as they want to move him. I feel like he's ready for the big fights and the big names at 135 pounds. I think he can handle his own with any fighter in the world, and he's got a great future ahead of him. Davis scored a career-best win over twice world title challenger Anthony Iggy last time out, and will hope to continue his own progression towards the biggest unmovers against Francisco Patero next month. Should the two keep winning, a huge fight between Stevenson and Davis is only a matter of time. Bernard Hopkins predicts Errol Spence Terence Crawford. He is ready to prove himself. International Boxing Hall of Fame Bernard Hopkins Jr. is no stranger to big fights. The former undisputed world middleweight champion never shied away from facing the best of the best in his long 67-fight career. He recorded 19 consecutive title defenses in that division, before later stepping up to become the lineal light heavyweight title holder and face top-quality opposition, including Jerk Zahe, Roy Jones Jr., and Sergey Kovalev. As such, he is well placed to comment on the match anticipated upcoming bout between two of the best pure and pound-for-pound fighters in boxing. On Saturday, July 29th, Errol Spence Jr. and Terence Crawford step up for a legacy fight at the T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas. On paper right now, and talent-wise, I see this fight being a pick'em. I'm leaning more towards Spence based on style, but Crawford is live, dangerous, and ready to prove himself to the world, to the naysayers, to everybody. I believe Crawford got the bigger chip on his shoulder. I believe Spence is the most talented one of the two, but that alone won't be enough for this fight to be won or lost, Hopkins said. Thanks for watching, guys. If you like this video, please subscribe to my YouTube channel.